If I told you your digestive problems don't start with what you eat, but with what's still stuck inside your colon every morning, would you believe it? Many people over 60 wake up feeling heavy, not hungry, even avoiding breakfast, and assume it's just a normal part of aging. But it's not. As your gut slows down, waste that isn't fully eliminated can sit there longer than you think. And over time, it creates an environment where inflammation quietly builds day after day. The tricky part is you don't feel it right away. There's no clear warning sign, just that sluggish, uncomfortable feeling, low energy, repeating every single morning. And then you try to fix it fast. A stronger cup of coffee, a laxative tea, or some detox method you saw online. But here's what most people don't realize. Those approaches don't make your gut healthier. They simply force your system to work when it's not ready. And over time, that actually makes things worse. So if the problem isn't a lack of fiber, what's really going on inside your body? And is there a simpler, more natural way to help your gut start working again without forcing it? In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through exactly that, and more importantly, I'll rank common morning drinks from the ones that barely help to the ones that can truly support your digestive system from the inside out. Stay with me until the end, because the final one could completely change the way you start your mornings. Before we talk about any specific drink, there's something important you need to understand. The issue isn't how much fiber you're eating. It's whether your gut can actually process it and move it along. A lot of people are told, just eat more fiber, and they do exactly that. But then they start to feel heavier, more bloated, even more uncomfortable. The reason is simple. If your internal transport system has slowed down, adding more material only makes the blockage worse. It's like adding more cars to a traffic jam. The problem isn't a lack of cars, it's that the road isn't moving anymore. After 60, there are two key changes that often go unnoticed. First, intestinal motility slows down, meaning waste moves through your system much more slowly than it used to. Second, the natural slippery layer, the one that helps everything glide through easily, begins to decline. As that layer thins, the intestinal walls become drier, more sensitive, and things simply don't move as smoothly as before. That's why you can be eating all the right foods and still not feel any lighter. Instead of focusing on how to push things out, a more effective approach is to restore the internal environment of your gut. And to do that, your digestive system needs three key elements every day. First is hydration. Not just drinking enough, but making sure everything inside stays soft and able to move. Second is natural lubrication, which reduces friction and protects the intestinal lining, especially as it becomes more sensitive over time. And third is minerals, especially magnesium, which help activate the natural movements of your gut, like flipping the switch that gets everything working again. Once you understand these three elements, you'll start looking at morning drinks very differently. It's not about how strong the stimulation is. It's about whether it truly helps your gut recover and function the way it's supposed to. And that's exactly the standard we'll use to rank them next. Let's start with the most familiar option, one that almost everyone has tried at some point: warm lemon water in the morning. It's often seen as a gentle kickstart for digestion, and there's a reason it's so popular. In terms of how it works, the natural acid in lemon can mildly stimulate the stomach and intestines, helping your body wake up and begin the digestive process. Some studies suggest that a small amount of acid in the morning may slightly improve bowel movement activity, especially in people whose digestive systems are still functioning relatively well. The biggest advantage of warm lemon water is its simplicity. It's easy to make, very inexpensive, and helps establish the habit of drinking fluids first thing in the morning, something many people overlook. For some individuals, just adding warm water alone can already make them feel lighter. However, the limitation is this: warm lemon water has only a mild effect and doesn't really address the two core issues we talked about earlier: the protective mucosal layer and true intestinal movement. It's like waking up your digestive system, but not giving it the tools it needs to function better. Also, if used long-term without proper care, the acid in lemon can affect tooth enamel, especially in older adults where enamel may already be thinner. Some people may also experience irritation or discomfort if they drink it on a sensitive stomach. If you still choose to use it, the best approach is to dilute it with warm water, drink it through a straw to reduce contact with your teeth, and not rely on it as your main solution. Think of it as a gentle warm-up, not something that will fully resolve your digestive issues every morning. Next is an option many people turn to when things become more uncomfortable: Senna laxative tea. It's often promoted as a way to clean out your colon overnight, and it does have a noticeable effect, but that's exactly why you need to understand it clearly before using it. Senna doesn't work gently. Instead, it directly stimulates the intestinal muscles to contract more forcefully. The compounds in senna leaves act on the intestinal walls, triggering strong contractions that push waste out quickly. Some studies have shown that senna can increase bowel movement frequency in the short term, especially in cases of more severe constipation. The benefit is obvious. It works fast. In many cases, you'll feel the effect almost overnight. For someone who hasn't had a bowel movement in days, senna can bring quick relief. But that strength is also its biggest drawback. Because it forces the gut to work through strong stimulation, many people experience cramping, abdominal pain, or an urgent need to go. For older adults whose intestinal lining is often more sensitive, these intense contractions can feel harsh and even irritating. More importantly, if used regularly, your gut can start to depend on that stimulation. Over time, its natural ability to move on its own weakens, and you may find yourself needing more just to get the same result. In other words, you're solving today's problem, while quietly making the next one harder. If you do use senna, treat it as a short-term tool, not a daily habit. Use it for a few days when truly necessary, then stop and allow your gut to reset. And, most importantly, don't confuse clearing things out quickly with actually restoring your digestive system. They are not the same thing. Now we move into a group of gentler options, ones that focus more on supporting recovery, and one of them is overnight okra water. It may sound unusual, but this is something your gut actually understands. When you slice okra and soak it in water, it releases a natural mucilage, slightly thick and slippery. That's the key. Mechanically, this gel-like substance acts like a protective layer, coating the intestinal walls, reducing friction, and helping waste move more smoothly. Instead of scraping along a dry, sensitive surface, things begin to glide more easily. Some research on foods rich in natural mucilage suggests they may help reduce markers of inflammation in the gut and improve stool softness over time. This is especially important for older adults, as the intestinal lining tends to lose moisture and flexibility with age. The biggest benefit of okra water is how gentle it is. There's no cramping, no forcing, no urgency. Instead, it supports your body in a more natural way, allowing the process to happen slowly but steadily. For those with a sensitive digestive system, that's a major advantage. However, it's not something everyone finds easy to stick with. The slightly slimy texture can be difficult for some people to drink, especially on an empty stomach in the morning. Fresh okra also isn't always readily available, and preparing it each night requires a bit of consistency. If you want to try it, the simplest method is to slice 3 to 4 okra pods lengthwise and soak them in a glass of room-temperature water overnight. In the morning, drink the water before eating. If the texture is hard to tolerate, you can add a little warm water or a few drops of lemon to make it easier. Just keep in mind, this isn't a quick fix. It's a way to help your gut gradually restore its natural environment. And for many people, that gentle approach is exactly what their digestive system has been missing for a long time. Next is an option that's mentioned less often, but very worth considering, especially if your goal isn't just to go, but to soothe and repair from the inside. That's the combination of aloe vera and slippery elm. What makes this pair unique is how it works. Aloe vera contains bioactive compounds that support the regeneration of cells in the intestinal lining, while slippery elm, when mixed with water, forms a thick gel that can coat and protect the surface of the gut. When combined, you get both a temporary protective layer and an environment that allows the underlying lining to gradually heal. Some studies on aloe-derived compounds suggest they may help reduce inflammation and improve the integrity of the gut barrier, meaning they can limit unwanted substances from passing through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream. This becomes especially important with age, as that natural protective barrier tends to weaken over time. The benefits people often notice include a calmer stomach, less bloating, and more regular bowel movements after a few days. There's no sense of being forced. Instead, it feels like the digestive system is being soothed first, then gradually functioning better. That said, this isn't the right fit for everyone. Slippery elm has a distinct, somewhat woody taste, and its texture can be difficult for some people to tolerate. Aloe vera may also interact with certain medications, especially blood thinners, so if you're on any treatment, it's important to check with your doctor first. If you'd like to try it, you can mix a small spoon of slippery elm powder with hot water and let it sit for about 10 minutes until it forms a gel. Then add a small amount of pure aloe vera juice. Drink it while warm, about 15 to 20 minutes before breakfast. This isn't a fast-acting solution within hours, but if you stay consistent for several days to a week, you'll likely begin to notice a difference, one that feels gradual, gentle, and more sustainable. Next is an option that has sparked a lot of debate: diluted apple cider vinegar with a bit of honey. Many people have heard exaggerated claims about it, but when used correctly, it can actually be a noteworthy support for digestion. The mechanism comes down to acetic acid. When properly diluted and consumed, it helps regulate the acidic environment in the stomach, which can improve how efficiently food is broken down. When digestion is more complete in the upper digestive tract, what moves into the intestines is cleaner and easier for beneficial bacteria to process. This, in turn, supports the production of compounds that help stimulate natural bowel movement. Simply put, you're improving the quality of the input, so the output becomes easier. Some research on acetic acid suggests that, when used appropriately, it may help improve the movement of food through the digestive system over time. It's not immediate, but it can make a noticeable difference with consistent use. The benefits are fairly clear: better digestion, less bloating after meals, and a more natural rhythm of bowel movements. Adding a small amount of honey helps soften the sharp taste of vinegar and provides a light source of energy in the morning. However, this is not something to take casually. If it's too concentrated, it can irritate the stomach or cause discomfort in the throat. For those with sensitive stomachs or a history of acid reflux, extra caution is needed. The acidity can also affect tooth enamel if it comes into frequent direct contact. A safe approach is to fully dilute it, about 1 teaspoon of raw apple cider vinegar in a cup of warm water with a little honey if needed, and drink it about 15 to 20 minutes before breakfast. Sip it slowly, and using a straw is a good idea to protect your teeth. If your body feels comfortable after a few days, you can continue. But if you notice any irritation, it's best to stop and adjust. The key thing to remember is that apple cider vinegar doesn't force your gut to move. It supports digestion upstream. And for many people, that subtle shift is what creates meaningful improvement over time. And here is the top choice, not because it's the most aggressive or fast-acting, but because it directly addresses what your gut is actually lacking: magnesium-rich mineral water combined with chia seeds. What makes this combination stand out is its dual mechanism. Magnesium plays a clear role in digestion. It helps draw water into the intestines and relax the smooth muscles, allowing natural movement to happen more easily. It doesn't force strong contractions. Instead, it helps restore the gut's natural rhythm. At the same time, when chia seeds are soaked in water, they form a thick gel. very similar to the natural mucosal layer your intestines need to function smoothly. Some studies on magnesium combined with soluble fiber suggest this combination can significantly improve bowel movement frequency, reduce transit time, and ease bloating when used consistently over a few weeks. The key here isn't instant results, but steady, lasting improvement. The benefits many people notice are clear: lighter mornings, no more feeling backed up, and more natural bowel movements without strain. In addition, magnesium also supports blood pressure and the nervous system, so you're not just improving digestion, you're supporting your overall health. Of course, there are a few things to keep in mind. You'll need to prepare it the night before, so the chia seeds have enough time to fully expand. In the first few days, some people may find the texture unusual or notice slight changes in how their stomach feels, but that's often a sign your body is adapting. If you have a history of serious digestive conditions, it's safer to start with a smaller amount. The method is simple. Add 1 tablespoon of chia seeds to a glass of magnesium-rich mineral water, stir lightly, and let it sit overnight. In the morning, stir again, let it rest for a few minutes so the gel settles, then drink it about 20 minutes before breakfast. No need to add anything else. What makes this the top choice isn't an immediate kick, but the fact that it supports all 3 key elements we talked about: hydration, lubrication, and motility activation. When those 3 are restored together, your gut no longer needs to be forced. It begins to function the way your body was designed to. At this point, you can see something clearly. Not every option is meant for daily use, and more combinations don't mean better results. What really matters is how you apply them. If you want to keep things simple, start with a stable foundation. Each morning, make magnesium-rich mineral water with soaked chia seeds your core habit. This is what helps your body gradually return to its natural rhythm, gently, without force. Then, depending on how your body feels, you can add a supporting option on alternate days. For example, if your digestive system feels sensitive or bloated, you might use a soothing option like aloe. If you want to improve how your body breaks down food, you might choose diluted apple cider vinegar. You don't need everything at once, just the right support at the right time. One very common mistake is trying to speed up results by combining too many methods at once. This doesn't help. It often overwhelms your digestive system. Your gut doesn't need more stimulation. It needs time to adapt and recover. Consistency matters more than quantity. The second mistake is drinking coffee immediately after these morning drinks. Caffeine can stimulate the gut to move quickly, but it also shortens the time needed for the gel and supportive compounds to do their job. So you may go faster, but you're not actually improving what's happening inside. Another issue is stopping too soon. After a few days without obvious changes, many people assume it's not working and give up. But your body needs time to adjust. What you're doing isn't creating an instant reaction. You're rebuilding the internal environment, and that always requires patience. So keep it simple. Choose a solid foundation, stay consistent, pay attention to how your body responds, and adjust when needed. When you do it the right way, and long enough, you won't need to keep searching for new solutions because your digestive system will begin doing its job on its own. After everything we've covered, the most important thing to remember is actually very simple. The issue isn't that you're getting older. It's that your digestive system is missing the conditions it needs to function properly. When you give it back what it needs, enough hydration, proper lubrication, and the right minerals, your body has the ability to adjust and recover on its own. You don't need to change everything at once. In fact, the simpler you keep it, the more likely you are to stay consistent. What creates real change isn't how much you know. It's how long you stick with it. So here's something very specific I'd like you to try. For the next 7 days, start each morning with a glass of magnesium-rich mineral water with chia seeds soaked overnight. Nothing complicated, just stay consistent and pay attention to your body, how your stomach feels, how light you feel, and your daily bowel habits. After 7 days, come back and ask yourself, do your mornings feel any different? And if you actually try it, I'd really like you to share your experience in the comments below. What you notice could help a lot of others who are dealing with the same issue. If you found this helpful, you can tap the like button so I know this kind of content is useful to you. And if you want more simple, practical ways to support your health every day, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss future videos. Thank you for your time, and I hope tomorrow morning feels a little lighter for you.